Hi, freshmen. Sorry I can't be there today. I'm out recruiting for STEM at the middle schools, so I wanted to give you a recording just to help you along with today's work. So for today, what we are going to be focusing on is practicing argumentative writing. So Miss Witt and I just wanted to see where you guys were at for your argumentative writing. So we're going to read an article about neurotech, and then I want you guys to create an argument on whether or not you agree or disagree with a statement. So we're going to get right into that. So where I want you to be is in Summit, and you want to be on our physical science course, and then select our project Elemental Impact, and you're going to go into checkpoint 2. So in checkpoint 2, there's a description there, and you want to open up the link in the description, and then you can read along with me here. So our goal is to write a 2-paragraph argument in agreement or disagreement with the following statement. Agree or disagree, the benefits of neurotech outweigh the risks. So just a quick check-in, how many of you have heard of neurotech? And if you have, you've probably heard of the company Neuralink by Elon Musk. So we're going to look at that and see what does that look like for the future. This is a super recent article too. So I'm going to show you where that is in Summit. You can just follow along with me here. So we're going into Summit, into physical science, an elemental impact project, and then clicking on checkpoint 2. And you'll see here there is our description for the checkpoint and that link that you want to click on to open up the article. So again, when you're done reading, you want to answer in 2 paragraphs, agree or disagree, the benefits of neurotech outweigh the risks. So you want to tell me whether or not you think neurotech is worth it or if it's too risky to do. So you want to complete this during class. So once we're done reading through the article, you're going to spend the last 15-20 minutes of class writing, and then you want to turn this checkpoint into me. All right, so we'll get right into it. So again, notice this was just printed February 11th, 2021, very recently. So this article is called New Technology Can Get Inside Your Head. Are you ready? Some experts argue that such brain implants raise serious privacy issues. So as I'm reading out loud to you, I just want you to be, we can pause the video periodically to just check, like, what are you hearing? What is the article talking about? Just to make sure we understand. So this is by Laura Sanders. Gertrude the pig rooted around a straw-filled pen. She gave no notice to the cameras and onlookers. She also ignored the 1,024 electrodes eavesdropping on her brain. Each time Gertrude's snout found a treat in a researcher's hand, a musical jingle sounded. It signaled activity in nerve cells that control her snout. Those beeps were part of a big August 28, 2020 reveal of the Nerve Watching Tech by Neuralink. It's a company based in San Francisco, California. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires. Or that's how Elon Musk described his company's new technology that day. Okay, you should pause here and let's just check in. What are electrodes? What are they maybe picking up on in Gertrude the pig's brain? And what does this maybe mean as we're reading through the article? Neuroscientists study the brain. For decades, many of them have been recording nerve cell activity in animals, but Musk and others are reaching to do far more. They want to enable us to perfectly save and relive our favorite memories, or maybe we'll replay video games in our heads. One day we may even beckon cars with our minds, Jedi style. Some scientists called Gertrude's introduction just an attention-grabbing stunt, but Musk, the maker of Tesla cars, has surprised people before. You can't argue with a guy who built his own electric car and sent it to orbit around Mars, says Christoph Koch. He's a neuroscientist at the Allen Institute for Brain Science in Seattle, Washington. Advances in brain tech are coming quickly. They also span a variety of approaches. Some could lead to external headsets that may tell the difference between hunger and boredom. Electrodes implanted in the brain might help translate our intentions to speak into real words. Or bracelets may be on the horizon that use nerve impulses to type for you. No keyboard required. Okay, so just a quick check for understanding here. What are some of the things it's talking about that we have already for brain tech? Right, so Elon Musk just said they're wanting to be able to save and relive favorite memories, or be able to replay video games, or beckon cars with our minds, right? But we're not there yet, but we do have things that can go ahead. We want to be able to translate our intentions to speak into real words, or use nerve impulses from a bracelet to go ahead and type something out, and you wouldn't need a keyboard. So these are some of the things that they're wanting to be able to do. But today, in real life, paralyzed people are already testing such technologies. Called brain-computer interfaces, they translate intentions into action. With brain signals alone, these people have been able to shop online, communicate, even use a prosthetic arm to sip from a cup. But the ability to hear brain chatter, understand it, and perhaps even modify it has the potential to change and improve people's lives. And this neural eavesdropping may help in ways that go well beyond medicine. Such technologies also raise questions, chief among them, who will get access to our brains and for what purpose? So another quick pause. Paralyzed people, someone who can't move their arms or their legs or both, are already using neurotechnology to be able to move a prosthetic arm or shop online, right? But we want to ask ourselves, how many people are going to have access to that technology, right? Okay, reading thoughts. Researchers and doctors have long sought to be able to pull information from someone's brain without relying on speaking, writing, or typing. It could help people whose bodies can no longer move or speak. Implanted electrodes can record signals in movement areas of the brain. This has allowed some people to control robotic prostheses. In January 2019, researchers at Johns Hopkins University implanted electrodes in the brain of Robert Buzz Chmielewski. A surfing accident had left the man unable to use his arms or legs. Using signals from both sides of his brain, Chmielewski was able to control 2 prosthetic arms with them. He could use a fork and a knife at the same time to feed himself. Researchers announced in a press release late last year. So this man is a quadriplegic, meaning he can't move his arms or his legs, and they've figured out a way to be able to read the signals in his brain to actually allow him to control 2 robotic arms to feed himself, which is amazing. That's amazing, and that just happened. 2019, right? Not that long ago. Okay. Other researchers decoded speech from the brain signals of a paralyzed man who is unable to speak. This man saw the question, "Would you like some water?" on a computer screen. He then responded with the text, "No, I am not thirsty." He got a computer to print the message using only signals from his brain. This work, described at a November 19, 2020 symposium hosted by Columbia University, was just one example of the advances in linking brains to computers. Now note, 2020, that was just a couple months ago that this research came out. That is amazing. Someone who's not able to speak can have their thoughts translated into actual text on a computer so that they can communicate. It's pretty amazing. Never before have we been able to get that kind of information without interacting with other parts of the body, says Karen Rummelfinger. She's a neuroethicist at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Speaking, sign language, and writing, for instance, all require several decision-making steps, she says. So far, efforts to pull information from the brain generally require bulky equipment, she notes. They've also needed heavy computing power. Most importantly, they required a willing participant. At least for now, any efforts to break into your mind could easily be halted by closing your eyes or even getting sleepy. What's more, Rummelfinger says, mind reading's goal is too vague to be a concern. I don't believe that any neuroscientist knows what a mind is or what a thought is, she says. As a result, I'm not concerned about mind reading, at least using the technologies that exist now. So right now we're just talking about how people can use their brain to go ahead and have thoughts and actions translated, right, into either text on a computer or having a robotic arm move. What this scientist is talking about, Rummelfinger, she's saying that currently that's all someone's choice. So no one could go ahead and just get into your brain and access your thoughts without you allowing it. But they may change quickly. So she's talking about the technologies. We are getting very, very close to having the ability to pull private information from people's brains, says Raphael Just. He's a neurobiologist who works at Columbia University in New York City. Just notes that studies have begun to decode what someone is looking at and what words she might hear. Scientists from Kernel, a neurotech company near Los Angeles, California, have invented a helmet. Just hitting the market, it works as a portable scanner. It highlights activity in certain areas of the brain. For now, companies have only our behavior, our likes, our clicks, our purchase histories to build eerily accurate profiles of us, and we let them. Predictive algorithms make good guesses, but they are only guesses. With this neural data gleaned from neurotechnology, it may not be a guess anymore, Just says. Companies will have the real thing straight from your brain. Okay, just a pause. They're talking about our use of our computers, our smartphones, all the social media stuff that we do, even just like our Google searches, right? So we allow that data that we search for to be collected so that then Google can give us better results, or Facebook gives us a better live feed, or Instagram, or whatever it is that you use. But what they're talking about is that potentially, instead of just using what we're searching for, they would be able to actually see like what we're about. So in the future, technologies may even be able to reveal subconscious thoughts, so the things that we're not even aware of yet. That is the ultimate privacy fear, because what else is left? So next step, altering behaviors. Technology already exists to read brain activity and change it. Such tools can detect a coming seizure in someone with epilepsy, for instance, and prevent it, or it might stop a tremor before it takes hold. Researchers are even testing related systems for obsessive compulsive disorder, addiction, and depression. But the power to precisely change brain activity and with it someone's behavior raises disturbing questions. Okay, again, technology already exists that can stop someone from having an epileptic seizure. Okay, so from someone seizing up. And they're doing research to go ahead and address addiction, depression, OCD. Okay. The desire to change a person's mind is not new, notes Marcelo Inca. He's a bioethicist in Switzerland at ETH Zurich. Winning hearts and minds is at the core of advertising and politics. Persuading people is what debates are all about. Technology capable of changing your brain's activity with just a subtle nudge, however, brings manipulation risks to the next level, Inca says. So another pause. We can go ahead and stop a seizure from happening with neurotech. But the thought that we could go ahead and convince someone of something by just having an electric signal put into their brain, that's where this researcher, Inca, is talking about that could be really risky. So thankfully, science can't do that yet, but in a hint of what may be possible, researchers have already created visions inside mouse brains. They used a technique called optogenetics. It uses light to stimulate small groups of nerve cells. In this way, the researchers made mice see, quote unquote, lines that weren't there. Those mice behaved exactly as if their eyes had actually seen the lines, says Yost, whose research group performed some of these experiments. Puppets, he calls the affected mice. So again, this is something that happened. They were able to produce images in a mouse's brain that weren't actually there. All of these new advances come against a backdrop of technologies we now find very comfortable. We allow our smartphones to monitor where we go, what time we fall asleep, and even whether we've washed our hands for a full 20 seconds. At the same time, people share digital breadcrumbs online about the diets we try, what TV shows we binge, and the tweets we love. For many of us, our lives already are an open book. Those details are more powerful than brain data, says Anna Wexler. She's an ethicist at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. My email address, my notes app, and my search engine history are more reflective of who I am as a person, my identity, than our neural data may ever be, she says. Okay, last part. How private should our brains and thoughts be? Right now, Wexler says it's too early to worry about brain tech intruding on our privacy, but many people do not share that opinion. Most of my colleagues, she admits, would tell me I'm crazy. Yost and others who would like to see strict laws to protect our privacy. They would like someone's brain cell data safeguarded, just as our organs are. No one can remove someone's liver without approval for medical purposes. These researchers would like to see neural data given the same protections. That viewpoint has gained acceptance in the South American nation of Chile. It is now considering whether to set up new protections to guard neural data so that companies cannot get at your data without your permission. Other experts fall somewhere in the middle. Inca, for example, thinks people ought to have the choice to sell or give away their brain data. They might do it in exchange for a product they like, or even just for cash. The human brain is becoming a new asset, he says. He's fine with it becoming something that can bring big profits to the companies eager to mine these data. If someone is well informed about what they are selling or giving away, then he thinks they should have the right to sell their data or exchange it for something they want. But figuring out how to manage the data from someone's brain won't be easy, says Rommelfinger at Emory University. General rules and guidelines are not likely to be the way to go, she says. More than 20 frameworks, guidelines, principles have been developed to handle neuroscience. Many tackle such things as mental privacy and mental liberty, the freedom to control your own mental life. Such guidelines are thoughtful, Rommelfinger says. Still, technologies differ in what they can do and what their possible impacts will be. For now, she says, one-size-fits-all solutions don't exist. Instead, each company or research group may need to work through ethical issues as their use of brain data